welcome to a shorter edition of the Tyne News. An inquest has been told that Soham killer Ian Huntley died as a result of a blunt head injury after being hit with a metal bar at Durham's Franklin prison. The inquest was told that a criminal investigation is now underway into what happened to the 52-year-old who was serving a life sentence for the murders of schoolgirls Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. Greg Eastill reports.
Ian Huntley, the school caretaker whose murder of two young classmates in 2002 made him one of the country's most notorious killers. He'd even publicly joined the hunt for Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman after they went missing, despite knowing exactly what had happened to them. Their bodies were eventually found almost 2 weeks later, and the 52-year-old was jailed for life for their murders. Today, the focus shifted to how his life ended, though, as an inquest opened into his death earlier this year while an inmate at Durham's Franklin prison. The hearing here was told that Huntley was struck over the head multiple times with an object described as a metal bar. He received significant head injuries and died at Newcastle's Royal Victoria Infirmary on March the 7th. The inquest was told a post-mortem was conducted 2 days later, and the provisional cause of death was listed as 1A blunt head injury. Sitting at the County Durham and Darlington Coroner's Court in Crook, Coroner Jeremy Chipperfield adjourned the hearing until May the 27th, pending criminal proceedings in the case.
Well, live to Greg at Franklin Prison now. And Greg, what's the purpose of the inquest that started today, and what else can you tell us about the criminal proceedings around Huntley's death?
Well, Ian, it's important to differentiate that unlike criminal proceedings, an inquest exists to establish the facts surrounding a fatality, so the hows and wheres, if you like, and not to establish any criminal guilt or liability. A coroner can make recommendations or observations at the conclusion of an inquest. So that process, that inquest for Ian Huntley's case, will continue to work its way through the coroner's court. Meanwhile, in the criminal courts, 43-year-old Anthony Russell has been charged with murder, the murder of Ian Huntley, and he's next due to appear before Newcastle Crown Courts on April the 24th.
Greg is still reporting for us live. Greg, thank you. An inquest has opened into the death of a baby found under floorboards in Bishop Auckland. The boy's remains were found by construction workers in 4 Bondgate in 2024. It was wrapped in newspaper dated 1910 with a twine around his neck. Radiocarbon dating showed a range of possible dates that the baby lived as between 1726 and 1812. The inquest heard a post-mortem couldn't establish a cause of death and no identity has been established, despite investigations. The inquest hearing is due to continue next month. Now, a major expansion has been announced of an NHS unit aimed at speeding up diagnoses for people across the North East by making it easier to have scans, tests and checks. The hub at the Metro Centre in Gateshead opened as part of efforts to offer appointments in more convenient locations. Our health correspondent Helen Ford reports.
Where people once came to shop, they now come for scans. Since 2024, a unit at Gateshead's Metro Centre has been seeing thousands of patients needing a diagnosis for their symptoms.
It won't take long to fill this space.
Now it's expanding into an area next door, almost doubling its clinical space.
What it's been successful in doing is moving healthcare from busy and congested hospital sites dealing with emergencies to much more convenient and accessible sites on the high street, meaning that people can access healthcare amid their busy lives.
The facility is called a community diagnostic centre, and while it's based in Gateshead, it can be used by people across the North East. Since this centre opened 18 months ago, 75,000 appointments have been carried out. For patients, getting an early diagnosis can bring peace of mind, or ensure that treatment has the best possible chance of success. The length of time that North East patients wait for diagnostic tests varies from trust to trust. According to the most recent figures, Northumbria Healthcare is our region's best performing in this regard. The proportion of patients waiting longer than 6 weeks is 0.7%. At the other end of the scale, almost 22% of patients referred to Newcastle hospitals waits more than 6 weeks. While this centre is primarily about diagnosis, its manager says expansion will bring other benefits. It's one thing getting a more speedy diagnosis, but patients might wonder whether they will still be waiting for their treatment.
So within the centre, we will be enabling clinicians to come work alongside the diagnostic teams to deliver that treatment at the centre. What I envisage is patients getting inhalers or medications prescribed at the time of their appointments or referred for onward treatments.
So your blood test
The ability to avoid a hospital visit where possible is a bonus for patient Anne Fothergill.
It's very convenient. There's plenty of transport here. If you come in the car, you know you're going to get parked. And I'm down here regularly doing shopping.
With improvements planned for similar centres in Stockton and Redcar, the strategy to strengthen community-based care is one we'll all be seeing more. Helen Ford, ITV News, Gateshead.
Now, many of our schools are still on their Easter holidays, and the spring weather is offering the chance to enjoy the outdoors. In the coming weeks and months, many of us will be heading for days probably at the seaside. But lifeboat crews are urging us to take care, of course, at the coast. The RNLI was called out on average almost once a day last year, 9 times for life-saving emergencies in the northeast. Tom Barton is live for us at one of our busiest lifeboat stations. He's in Tynemouth this evening. Tom.
Yes, Ian, it's actually a slightly chilly evening here in Tynemouth tonight, but it has, I promise you, been a lovely sunny day. And it's on days like this that the volunteers who work on the lifeboat crews often find themselves being called out. When they do, they find themselves, first of all, in here, in the crew rooms, putting on all of their safety gear. And that is something that they did a lot last year. Like you say, 355 times across the northeast, almost once a day. Here in Tynemouth, they were called out 68 times. When they're called out, after they've got all of that safety gear on, well, they come out and get on one of the boats to go to a rescue. And these rescues, they really are life-saving. In fact, last year, 9 lives were saved across the northeast. Here in Tynemouth, they saved 2 lives. Well, James Waters is one of the helms on the lifeboats here. James, first of all, just how busy was last year compared to previous years here?
It was really busy, actually. We had a noticeable increase in the number of call-outs across, not just our station, but across the northeast, especially around the April time when we had that really nice summer weather to start with.
And of course, everybody here, yourself included, is a volunteer, but you're putting your lives on the line, aren't you?
Yeah, I work in IT as a day job and end up kind of doing a lot here in my spare and not so spare time. We have a total of 30 crew here who are volunteers, so we all kind of come from all walks of life to kind of help save lives at sea.
And as the weather does start to improve, what's your message to people who are out enjoying the water, either on it or in it?
So just make sure that you're around the life-guided beach as well, swimming between the flags. If you are going to go out into sea, make sure that you have a friend with you that can go in pairs. You've got a mobile phone in a waterproof pouch and that float to live as well if need to.
Well, James, thank you ever so much. And of course, as the weather hopefully does continue to improve, all of those lifeboat crews will continue to risk their lives to save yours.
And we are grateful to them. Tom, thank you very much indeed. Now, a former world champion motorcyclist has stepped in to help a charity promoting safe riding to young people in North Yorkshire. The Richmond Area Motorcycle Project, or RAMP, had several bikes stolen from them 4 months ago. Now, ex-champion Dave Thorpe has made a generous donation. Sally Simpson reports.
Up and running. The RAMP project hit a stumbling block in January when it was the victim of the theft of all its bikes and much of its gear. But today, teenagers who take part in the volunteer-led scheme to teach them riding skills and put them on the right track were back at the centre in Catterick, fully equipped. And handing over the replacement bikes, 3-time world champion Dave Thorpe, who answered the appeal when he heard about their plight via ITV News.
Honda contacted me. Obviously, they'd seen your piece on the TV, which was great, and they were looking at ways of supporting it. If you look what they do, everything they do with the kids, it's a great asset for the area, really, because to teach the kids to ride bikes is a lifetime skill. It's great fun, keeps them off the street, and it gives them an interest. So I think it's a great opportunity for everyone involved.
Chloe is the lead volunteer here. She says the generosity they've seen is nothing short of incredible. Chloe, so soon after you made your appeal, you're now back up and running with lots of donations. Tell me what you've got.
So we've been kindly donated a bunch of jackets. We've got some trousers in here, some brand new boots, some brand new helmets. So we've been given a whole lot of kit from head to toe. That was kindly donated from MMT training in Darlington. We're sort of back up on our feet and ready to rock and roll as such.
And as well as all the kit, of course, you've had the donation of all these fantastic bikes, which is what this is all about.
The main part we've got now, and I'm excited for the adventures. We had to sort of keep it quiet to start with, and then when I was eventually able to tell people, it felt real. It was just like the dream has come back.
I was thinking it's going to take a couple more years of like charity and saving and to get just 1 or 2 bikes back, but getting 3 back, it's awesome.
And with 24-hour security, there can be many more years of awesome fun to come in the future. Sally Simpson, ITV News, Catriac.
Now, scientists have confirmed that a fireball seen in the skies above parts of our region was a meteor. The footage was captured at various locations in the early hours of Monday morning. This was from security cameras in Thornaby. Our next one was filmed in Northumberland. It was also seen in other parts of the country. Experts at the UK Fireball Alliance, which sounds like a great alliance, said the meteor was extremely bright as it travelled through the atmosphere, but it wasn't very big. It happened over the North Sea, where the meteor probably landed. That footage there was in Scarborough. No meteors in the forecast. Here's Ross.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the Sound. 2 sponsors, ITV Tyne's weather.
Hello, good evening. Eastern areas holding on to the best, the brighter breaks and sunshine today, but the cloud has been filling in. With that cloud, bits and pieces of patchy rain, winds starting to pick up too. Similar story as we head into tomorrow, but one thing we are going to notice is milder temperatures, particularly as we make our way overnight. Last night, temperatures dipped below freezing, high pressure in control, keeping things calm and chilly. That's been squeezed out of the way, and low pressure's moving its way in from the west. With that, we get the stronger winds coming up from that southerly direction, lifting up that milder air, but also in the mix, we do have a fair few fronts bringing showers, patchy rain with it at times. So that's what we're seeing at the moment. The rain mostly on the lighter side. We do see that cloud thickening into the early hours as a secondary area of rain starts to move through by around 2-3 o'clock. The odd heavier burst with that one. These are the overnight lows. Last night dipping down as far as -3 degrees, and tonight holding up at around 10 or 11, so much milder into Wednesday morning. The price we pay for that, there's a lot of cloud around, and again we've got bits and pieces of rain moving through. Now we're well positioned to see some decent sunny spells developing for a time into the afternoon, staying breezy, but those winds coming from that southerly direction, highs of 17 degrees.
2 sponsors, ITV Tyne's weather.
Thank you, Ross. There's international football for you tonight. We're back to usual tomorrow. Bye for now.